y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a faith planner process. I'm going to show you how I decorate my faith planner for the week, and I'm going to use this beautiful set from Kelly Bangs. It is called Call Her Blessed, and I love it. So each page has kind of a different theme, all centered around motherhood or just the women in our lives that do so much for us. So this is the first page. It's a gardening theme. Look at how cute all of these little plants are. Watering right here. Let her works bring her praise. She is worth far more than rubies. Love, love, love all of these. Here is the women in our lives that are keeping us together, which this page I am feeling for sure, doing all the housework. She has no fear for her household. Honor her for all her hands have done. I love that. And I love all of these ladies in their super cute clothes. So adorable. Here we have some women that are doing some cooking and cleaning, and there's just so many ways that we provide for our family. And whether you're working in the house or out of the house, whether you're providing for your kids or your grandkids, or just volunteering your time through church, there's just so many ways that I know that women work hard, often behind the scenes, often unseen, but are faithfully serving others in the name of God. And I just love that this set celebrates that. And then we have our moms with kids, we have our grandma. It's just so beautiful. So I'm going to use this set in honor of Mother's Day this past week, and I'm going to use it to decorate my faith planner. This is my faith planner that I use every morning. I take notes in it as I'm doing devotional studies or reading in my Bible. So I like to decorate it each week just to help give a little pep in my step for the morning. So you can see I've done several weeks in a row. And for this particular week, I'm going to do May 10th through the 16th. So I will pull these out and we'll get going. I will make sure to link everything that I use down below. Otherwise, let's go. In my faith planner, the decorating is always optional. The main purpose of this planner is to take notes for my morning devotion time. And so some weeks I go really light on the decorating, and then there's weeks like this one that I just go all out. So I have pulled out a stencil from the Crafters Workshop, and I will place that down using my Pixie spray because that keeps it in place. And then I'm using the Quiche Flamingo Distress Oxide ink to add just some bright color in the background. It's just so fun to play with these planner pages, and they bring me a lot of joy in the mornings when it's super early and I'm sitting down to do my Bible study. I make sure to do all of the art ahead of time so that in the mornings it is all about reading and taking notes and seeing what God has for me to learn that day. But it is fun getting to play in this planner and try some different things. So I started with the pink, and now I'm going to the mustard seed yellow, I believe, just because it's a really bright yellow, and I thought it would be really cool to have them overlap just a little bit, and it worked out pretty well. This is going to end up being a really bright page, but I just love the brightness for the time of year, but also I love the concept of this whole set. The fact that, you know, there's so many things that we do, and sometimes as women we can feel like we aren't really contributing a lot, but as moms or as people that care for others, we really, really are, and we're doing God's work, and it's in little ways and it's often in unseen ways, and it's still just as important. Okay, I have sped this up a lot because this is going to be a ton of fussy cutting. I have people ask me all of the time why I do fussy cutting if I have a Cricut or a Silhouette, and I definitely could cut these out with either of those tools and it would work just fine. Sometimes though, I just like I like fussy cutting. I don't mind it. I'm not sure which pieces I want to use yet. I liked that these were kind of grouped, each page kind of focused on a different aspect of being a mother or being a woman or whatever you might want to focus on, and I didn't want to mix them all up, if that makes sense. So, because I knew personally I'm not a gardener, so I knew I didn't want to use the garden ones because that really didn't describe me. But do I make dinner? Yes, most nights. Do I do all the laundry and most of the cleaning? Yes, that is me. So I wanted to make sure to include those on the page because they were personal to me and my personal story of being a mom and how I show up for my family. So yes, I decided to fussy cut this time. What I usually do, if you're wondering, because you did or did not ask, I will work with a set the first time, something like this. So it's the first time I printed it out. I will work with it. I might use it 1 or 2 times. And then once I've done that, then I go back and cut out all of the pieces that are left. So I give it a couple of times on the sheets, then I cut out all of the pieces, and I have a really big tray full of digital prints that I use in my morning journaling routine. So, I keep it together sometimes, and there are times that I use my Cricut or Silhouette. So, maybe there's not a rhyme or reason to it. If you have one of those cutting machines and you want to take the time to set it up to cut, it's not quite as simple if you haven't tried it yet. It's not quite as simple as just, printing and cutting. You have to do a little work to make sure the files are correct and that it's the correct format and you have the correct margin around your pictures and all of that business. So it does take a little bit of time. In the end, is it probably faster than fussy cutting? Probably. It just depends on how you like to work with your digital pieces. Okay, as I'm cutting, I am kind of making little vignettes or little groupings around the page of some moms that are doing different things. I know I kind of want my title for this week to be Honor Her for All Her Hands Have Done, which I think is so beautiful. So I have that up in the top left, and I'll use the florals to kind of surround it. And then I have the mom that is in the kitchen and giving a hug to the little kid. I have the mom that is vacuuming and has laundry going at the same time. And then soon enough, I will add a mom that is cuddling with her little kiddo up in the top corner. And I actually end up adding the phrase, it says, taking the kids to practice unto the Lord. And if that is not the season I am in, it just describes it perfectly. So all 3 of my kids are playing sports. We have a soccer player and 2 baseball players, and practices and games and filling the water bottles and making sure they have all the equipment. Just so much goes in to when your kids are doing sports. And I can only imagine as they get older and the sports get more competitive or the practices get longer, I can only imagine that it's going to pick up. And it's so true that a lot of times we think, oh, that's just, it's just something I do. It's not important, but it is important. And you are supporting your kids and you're supporting your family and you're showing up, which is what God calls us to do. And I think it's just a beautiful sentiment to really focus on that and take time to focus on that. Okay, I promise I'm almost done fussy cutting here. So this is my faith planner, and it has these different sections, and they're titled something like observation and application. I don't really use it like that. I generally just take notes straight down the page. So I'm actually going to pull in some washi tape that has some white grid and cover up these little section titles, I guess you would say. I'll just cover it up with washi tape. No big deal. I kind of wish Happy Planner would release one that was just like a lined vertical, if that makes sense. So I might look for one of those in the future. I'm loving my faith planner. It is one of the best habits that I have started in the past year. I kind of started it last summer of 2020, and it has been awesome. So it's definitely one that I'm going to keep up with. I just don't really like the format completely. I like the size. I like a lot about it. So it's okay for me to just overlook the parts that I don't enjoy. Now I'm just taking time to adhere everything down. I'm using my Tombow tape runner just because I print these out not on cardstock. I use bright white printer paper. I will link it below. I don't use cardstock because I feel like it adds a lot of bulk, and I like printing my printables on this other paper that is kind of in between a regular copy paper and cardstock. But if I use my adhesive tape glider, it tends to be a little little bit too rough. So I just use my Tombow tape runner for these, and I'm just getting everything adhered down, making these little clusters, which is generally what I like to do on these pages. And I decide at the last second, like I could have left it right here. You can see I'm looking at it and deciding, but here's the truth. I just love Kelly's illustrations so much. So I'm going to try to include as many as I possibly can with still allowing me room to take notes. So I added the little spray bottle. I thought it was super cute. And then this cutting board just reminded me of a charcuterie board, which happens to be one of my other favorite things to do. So I don't know if it has to do with being a mom, but I sure do like a charcuterie board. So I decided to put it on there because I can really personalize this spread. And that's it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have everything linked down below, and a special shout out to my YouTube members. Thank you so much for your support. If you're interested in finding out how to become a part of our YouTube community, make sure to click the join button. I hope you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.